Well, NDA reaching that magic figure and surpassing that magic figure. These are the leads right now. NDA 325 seats, UPA 74 seats. The BJP emerging as the single largest party with 276, with all their allies. With Shiv Sena getting 15 seats or leading in 15 seats. The Shiromani Akali Dal getting 3 seats. The TDP leading in 14 seats. Major gains for the TDP. The LJP leading in 2 seats, and various other parties part of the NDA making up the rest of the chunk with 15 seats. The Congress reduced to double digits, 59 seats for Congress. RJD gets 5 seats. The NCP, which was predicted to get 10 to 15 seats, ending up with leads in 6 seats, and the JMM getting 1 seat and others getting 3 seats. There you go, BJP leading in 276. So perhaps in the first time in the history of BJP, you will see them forming the government with their own lead.
This hasn't happened since 1984.
Yes. Right, a single party getting absolute
party.
majority, and so more part of them.
But decimation of Congress, 59 seats.
I think that's the big story.
That's an understatement.
You see, that's the big story. This is carnage.
Yes.
You know, absolutely.
You know, there's a minor figure there which is reflective of
absolutely
what we have been discussing. We've been talking about Congress. You know, we spoke in that breakup. If you look at RLD, right, which was expected to pick up about 4 or 5, right? See, the entire identity politics that Congress tried in Uttar Pradesh was to attract Jats, right? That was the point about giving reservation to them. And, you know, RLD failing so miserably is also reflective of the kinds of failed alliances that and political strategies that Congress pursued.
Also, in the last phase of the election, it was believed that Lalu is making some serious gains, but he's leading only in 5 seats.
BJP has finished in that.
This gives indication that
properly this Congress 59. If you take state-wise, I think many states Congress has been wiped out. It has
Yes.
not even scored one single seat also. That is the big news actually. And BJP crossing 272 plus mark. That is nearly after 30 years, any party crossing the 272 marks. That is one history. The crossing 325 itself is one big history. But Congress, I think some states they have to close down their
Yes, that's
party.
the point.
And,
Mr. Harish, what does it
president.
mean for Congress now? A number like this.
Congress will have to do a lot of homework, rethinking, and how to rejuvenate, and leadership crisis, and kind of politics that they were doing. They should understand that India has moved on, and they can't have 19th, 20th century politics in 21st century youth. They will have to really think about this.
Well, if you look at the history of Congress,
After 10 years of ruling, Congress reducing to this level. That
if
is
you look at the
reducement.
history of Congress, it was always said like 1977 was perhaps their worst moment. Do you think it's somewhere on par with that or perhaps surpassed that?
I think it surpassed that. It surpassed that.
59 is the lowest they seem to have
I think where the Congress equation really went wrong, and where the BJP managed to actually put in place a successful strategy, was to corner this so-called Muslim vote bank of the Congress. Because if you make that community feel completely left out of the system, you know, it has to crack. It has to crack. So that consolidation that has traditionally taken Congress home did not happen. It's gotten scattered, and because it's gotten scattered, you can see the mayhem and the carnage that's happening in large parts of the country. You know, places like Bihar, if that had not cracked, Lalu would have done better. But that's broken.
But, Mr. Surana went on to point out that after 10 years of rule, it's surprising that Congress has been reduced to this. Is it really surprising that after 10 years of rule, a party can be reduced to this? Because the kind of anti-incumbency a party faces, or a coalition government here faces after 10 years of rule.
Perhaps it should have happened earlier.
Right? Your organization is still intact.
It's a cumulative one.
And so, from that perspective, right, I mean, one of the things that we pointed out in the morning was that Congress failing to get even halfway mark in any of the states across the country. But that's a huge setback for Congress.
Right. Let's listen to what Baba Ramdev had to say.
क्षेत्र में एक इतिहास बना दिया। भगवान राम, कृष्ण और चाणक्य के बाद मैंने कहा था एक चौथी महाक्रांति हिंदुस्तान में नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में होगी और अब उसका परिणाम आ चुका है। गुजरात की भूमि ने बहुत महापुरुष दिए हैं। महर्षि दयानंद बापूजी और सरदार पटेल के बाद एक ऐसे महापुरुष आए हैं जो है सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने तो एक भारत बनाया था। अब ये श्रेष्ठ भारत जरूर बनाएंगे और दिव्य भव्य भारत का निर्माण मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में होगा। जब मोदी जी का नाम सब संत महापुरुषों ने हरिद्वार में आचार्य क्रम को आगे किया था प्रधानमंत्री पद के लिए, तो एक अनिश्चितता और अविश्वास के दौर से देश गुजर रहा था और ऐसे में बीजेपी और संघ के बाद यदि कोई गैर राजनीतिक संगठन जिसने अपना सर्वस्व दांव पर लगा करके और सरकार की जो जातियां सह करके यदि खुले तौर पर काम किया तो वो भारत स्वाभिमान था। मैं भारत स्वाभिमान के लाखों कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ साथ 125 करोड़ लोगों ने जी जान लगा करके अपने प्रार्थनाओं पुरुषार्थ के बल पर ये जो विजय दिलाई है, उन सबके प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करता हूं और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि अब देश की राज सत्ता और अध्यात्म सत्ता एक दूसरे की पूरक होकर के और 125 करोड़ लोग मिलकर के एक दिव्य और भव्य भारत, आध्यात्मिक और आर्थिक शक्ति संपन्न भारत जरूर बनाएंगे। देखिए, कांग्रेस के टारगेट पर यूं तो जितने भी अच्छे लोग थे वो रहे हैं, लेकिन नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी, अमित शाह, आचार्य बाक्षण और स्वामी रामदेव, उनके टारगेट पर ये 4 व्यक्ति सबसे ज्यादा थे और हमने कभी इसकी परवाह नहीं की। हमने कहा परिणाम जो भी हो, हमें सत्य, धर्म और न्याय के लिए काम करना है। और जब मैंने कहा था 300 से ज्यादा सीटों के साथ मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री बनेंगे और देश को एक पूर्ण बहुमत वाली ईमानदार, अनुभवी, स्थायी और मजबूत सरकार देंगे, तो लोगों ने उसका मजाक उड़ाया था। लेकिन आज मुझे प्रसन्नता है कि जो ईश्वरीय संकल्प था, जो 125 करोड़ लोगों के दिलों की भावना।
Well, there we have it. Ramdev Baba going on to express his support to Narendra Modi, and scenes of celebration that we can see across the country. Supporters of Narendra Modi as well as the BJP there coming to the fore, bursting crackers, shouting slogans, and all excited that seems like NDA is staring at a historic win and Congress is staring at its worst ever defeat. In fact, in the break, my colleague Harish was pointing out that it will be a big challenge for the Congress to pin the blame on someone for this embarrassing loss. Coming to that, Mr. Ram Sheshu, who do you think will be blamed for this loss?
Well, who has to be blamed is separate from who do you think will be blamed. I mean, they're two separate things altogether. You know,
That's why I asked the latter.
So we all know who has to be blamed, but the point who is to be blamed, Narendra Modi will be blamed.
And Rajesh Shukla has already started the...
Absolutely. They're going to say, you know, this guy went and promised the earth, they promised the moon, they promised the stars, they promised everything, even a little bit of Mars and Venus. And, you know, the gullible Indian public has gone into it. But we respect the Indian public. You know, we respect their decision. This is a tamasha. But as Harish mentioned earlier, I think the Congress has to really sit down, get its act right. They've got to get back to basics. Look at what is happening in neighboring Andhra Pradesh, a state where they ruled. You know, they're down now less than 20 seats. They had the highest number of seats in Andhra Pradesh, and they're down to 20 seats in the assembly, in the combined Telangana and the Andhra assembly, which means they've got their entire calculations completely wrong. You know, every single thought of it. You know, what is happening with the Congress today is that there is such a big gap between what is happening on the ground and what their leaders are actually looking at. You know, there's a huge gap, right? And I think, you know, many years ago, if you remember, there was this lovely play that Bertolt Brecht had written about the life of Galileo Galilei. And in the end, he says that, you know, when the leader's cry of a hurrah is met with a universal cry of horror, that's the time when the leader knows that he's completely out of touch with what is happening below. And I think that is the unfortunate reality with the Congress right now, that they're completely out of touch with what is going on. Okay? And It's become just too Delhi-centric. Things are happening at that particular level. Absolutely no clue what's going on at the ground. And state after state, you see the surprising thing, it's just not there. They've been blanked out in state. Now, from another perspective, this is a little bit of a worry, because for a good politics to be there, for a good democracy to be there, you need dissent. You need somebody to put people on their toes. Now with this, it's a very serious problem. So this is a space that may be occupied by a complete ragtag bunch of people, and that's a dangerous thing to happen again.
Also now it's been speculated that the whole result of 2014 will see Priyanka Gandhi coming to the forefront. And with this decimation, do you expect that process to be faster?
Another blunder. That would be another blunder for Congress if they do that.
But do they have too many options left?
A lot of perceptional issues, First, they have not understood the transformative politics of India, and the leadership had crisis in terms of carrying everybody with them. And then there were a lot of dissensions within the party. There were old and the young. Synergy was never built. And now, if they get into this kind of, once again calling, sister or daughter or somebody else to save the party, they are in for complete ruination.
But if Congress is looking for that single leader to lead them, to lead the party from the front, who could it be, if not?
I still feel that they will have to fall back on Priyanka because they need the family. Without the family, the Congress is finished.
I disagree.
The challenge for Congress.
Please, you were telling me something.
The challenge for Congress is to reinvent itself without the family.
It's
right?
not possible.
Let us not confuse feistiness with leadership. And Priyanka Gandhi comes with serious handicap. Her now BJP governments are in power in Rajasthan, in Haryana. In Haryana, it will come to power pretty soon, later this year. There's not going to be any protection for Robert Vadra. And, people are not dumb. They'll make political strategies to finish off their political opponents. So where will the new leadership come from? If Congress will have to survive, it will find that leadership. Otherwise, some other political force will occupy this vacuum. But Congress has too long a history, too proud a history, and it will somehow find enough inspiration, enough imagination to reinvent itself as a left of center national force.
But did this whole history also indicate in the 90s that the Congress cannot survive without the Gandhi family? It was tried in the 90s.
No, I think something that we need to recognize is because of the long electoral history that the Congress has had, it has been in touch with the ground for a longer period of time.